Hey guys, what's up? My name is Perez, and today we're looking at the Sony A7R III and just first impressions. Hey guys, so it's official. I have bought the Sony A7R III, and if you don't want to watch the whole video, which I hope you do, but if you don't, it's a great camera. Just flat out, it's a great camera for hybrid shooters, for just stills, or video, yes, if you're just getting into it. So let's get into it. Why didn't I get the A7R or the A7 III versus the A7R III? And that's because the slight advantage that the A7R has in photography. And this is the child right here. So if you look right here, this is the Metabones smart adapter. So this one is updatable. That was very important. There's cheaper versions. There's a Sigma version of this as well. This one seems to perform the best. It also has IBIS so any stabilized lens, it will work with the image stabilization on the camera, and it does. It does. So let's talk about now initial thoughts and the kind of unscientific comparisons in my own head. So, okay, shooting with this camera, as soon as you pick it up and you put it to your eye, it's wow. The viewfinder is, electronic viewfinder is absolutely amazing. Like, so perfect. Like, you see every single detail, and it's just so bright. It's amazing, especially coming from regular DSLR. It's like, wow. The LCD, it's bright in sunlight, but this is the big but. It doesn't have the tilty screen, which it does tilt back and forth. And here, I'll just show you guys. Let's cover up that sensor. So here is the LCD. It's tilted like this, but it doesn't. What am I gonna do with this? What? That's one negative. But okay, all right, I accept it. Now another negative. Here, I need to put this back. Here, I'm just gonna put it back here. 1 second. Okay, we're good. Another negative that I ran into is the touch screen. So it does have a touch screen. It's just extremely limited. Like, the only times you're able to use the touch screen is when you're taking a picture and you could tap to focus in a certain area, and even that's not even good. Or not tap to focus, but tap to select your focus point. There we go. That's the right thing. And the when you review a picture, you could kind of like zoom in, but that's it. So everything with the LCD, Canon and some other manufacturers, great. For this Sony, not so good. So if that's a deal breaker for you, don't buy this camera. Next thing. So autofocus. Autofocus is, it's hard for me to say or give a judgment on autofocus because I'm using an adapted lens. When the autofocus works, it works fantastic. But sometimes I've noticed in lower light situations where the autofocus hunts. So you cannot, it just won't work. And so what I do is I just end up manually focusing. That's not all scenarios, but what I've seen is just when the lower light, when it gets a little bit darker. And I think that has to do with the contrast, just because that's the way I believe their system works, through contrast. So again, I can't really give an accurate representation because I'm not making an accurate test with a Sony E-mount lens. And that's really going to be the difference when I get that lens. That'll be the real review. So if you've never shot Sony before, then the menu system is going to be a little confusing. There is a lot in there, but it's also not incredibly difficult. If you know a little bit of what you're looking for, what settings you're looking for, you'll find them. You'll find them easily. You could change them. And there are so many custom buttons. Like, you could customize everything, mostly everything on this camera. So you could really make it so it works for you. I still haven't done that. I'm in the process. I'm just looking at what works for me best and what doesn't. So as soon as you take a picture with this camera and you take it back to Lightroom, you'll see, or whatever editing software you use, you'll see it is fantastic. My goodness. Okay, so I was shooting with APS-C body, and I've shot with full frame bodies too. I've shot Sony before in the A7 S2, and I've shot with the 5D Mark III, the 5D Mark IV, 1DX, and I don't know. I've shot with a good amount of cameras, and I've shot with Nikon too, and man, this camera is good. The resolution is amazing. It performs great in low light. I will say that if you do not go and change, there's a lot of creative filters on there and picture profiles. If you don't mess around with those, if you don't look for the best one that's the flattest, then you're going to get over-sharpened images. That's what was happening to me in the beginning, the first 2 or 3 days that I was shooting with it. I was just like, well, I'll just shoot with the default profile, and yeah, that really wasn't the best idea. So it really depends on you. It's a great investment. In my opinion, it was an expensive investment, and not only that, that you're going to have to think about purchasing lenses if you don't have Sony glass already. If you do, buy it. Like, no questions asked, just buy the camera and you'll enjoy it. It'll be great. But if you don't have Sony glass, then this is something to think about, because the lens line is expensive and they do not have the enormous amount of lenses that Canon has. So if you really want to have a specialty, or you have a niche in some type of photography or video, then I would say look at their lens line first. See if you if you have that lens, or if they have that lens for you. Then that's something, say, hey, okay, so they have the lens I want, now I'll buy the camera. Now also keep in mind, Sigma is releasing E-mount lenses as well, so that's something to keep an eye out for. And that's probably going to be cheaper than the Sony lenses. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So now, in conclusion, it's a great camera. The file sizes are enormous, but that's what you get with 42 megapixels. I mean, hey, you know, why are you buying this camera if you don't want a big file size? I mean, that's my opinion. It's up to you. This camera also has a Super 35 mode where you could, it turns into an APS-C. So if you have APS-C lenses and still get a great image, or if you're trying to punch in to get a up closer picture, then you can use that feature as well. Although you will lose quality or megapixels just because you're zooming in or cropping into the sensor. So I love the camera. There are still things that I can't appreciate yet because I don't have a Sony lens, which that is coming. And I know I didn't really talk about video. That's because I haven't really shot too much video. Now this camera does have S-Log3, and it also does 120 frames per second at 1080, and it does 4K at 24 and 30p. So it's gonna be great. I've shot S-Log before with the FS7, FS700, Sony A7S2, and I kind of know what S-Log feels like, but I really would love to see what they've done with this S-Log. So that's gonna come in the future, And yeah, I really think that this is a great camera. And until Canon decides to make a mirror, either a mirrorless camera, which I'm fine if they don't, but just give me the features that I need, I need now in 2018 and coming in next year, because this is a good amount of money. Also, talking about money, this camera, $3,200 US dollars, and depending what state you live, taxes, it's going to be a lot more, about $250 in taxes. So straight out the gate, you're looking at $3,400 to $3,500. Then lenses, or if you're like me and you want to adapt lenses, $400 for the metal bones adapter. So yeah, it's a great camera. It'll pay for itself if you use it, which I am, and we'll see once I get the Sony glass how it actually works. And I mean, once the glass is on there, I'm sure that I'll get even better results out of the camera. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. Also hit notifications, because I am going to be putting out videos. I know I've said it in the past, but I am. I promise I am going to do more for this channel, and hopefully you guys stay through it with me. I've been going through a lot of personal stuff, which I'll end up sharing with you guys. I'm just not quite ready yet. Take care. God bless. Peace. What are my first initial thoughts? God, come on, man. Come on. Stop. Stop right now. Just chill. Alright.